started.
We can start now.
Yeah, so today our topic of debate is new Canadian rule for immigration. So they are going to reduce the immigration from now onwards to upcoming years. They are significantly reducing the new immigrants containing student visas, direct PRs, as well as the other immigration fields. So today we are going to debate on it. So the our group, Sharmin, Saurabh, Viraj, and Daniel is going to support that rule, and other group, Mission, Abhishek, and Stephanie is going to speak against that rule. So yeah, so to begin with, this rule is really going to help the Canada on its economy because nowadays there are many immigrants are coming in the country because of the country's liberal rule, but the country do not have that capacity to absorb the significant amount. So it is going to be beneficial for the Canada's economy for that.
Yeah, supporting that argument, according to Conference Board of Canada, an estimated they are estimating that the increasing immigration levels could boost Canada's GDP by billions of dollars annually. By attracting skilled immigrants, the country can fill gaps in its labor market and drive innovation, ultimately leading to increased productivity and prosperity. This is supported by numerous studies that have shown that immigration contributes positively to the economic growth.
But
So if I would like to add one more point with Daniel, that how the new immigration rule will be helpful to boost the labor market and addressing the skill shortages. So the first argument from my part will be the new immigration rules are designed to attract skilled workers, which will help fill gaps in the Canadian labor market. Many sectors such as healthcare, technology, and construction are experiencing significant labor shortages. So, by streamlining the process for skilled immigrants to enter the workforce, Canada can ensure that these sectors continue to grow and thrive. So, how it can happen in Canada's economy? It will be beneficial to increase the productivity level. How it will happen? So, skilled immigrants can increase productivity by filling roles that requires specialist knowledge and expertise. For example, in the technology sector, skilled software engineers and data scientists can enhance the development of cutting edge technologies and solutions. So, this increase in productivity can lead to higher outputs and efficiency within various industries. According to the Financial Post, the technology sector alone is projected to need tens of thousands of skilled workers in the upcoming years to sustain its growth and innovation. So it's not possible to go for this without getting skilled immigration.
but yeah, I totally oppose against you because Canada not only lacks skilled manpower, but also it lacks on skilled manpower also. So there are many jobs or many sectors where the unskilled labor are necessary, and cutting down the migration will uh, not will cut down the unskilled resources also that will create job shortages or the employee shortages in the market for unskilled workers, I believe.
Mm.
Yeah, I would like to add something. I'm with Mishan because I believe that in this case, the government, I mean Canada, have to assign a lot of money for example, in education. Many families come here with obviously with kids, children, and in sometimes schools could be not have enough capacity for that children. So in that way, the government should assign more and more resources to create new programs to newcomers, for example, a language training or a program for integration with the families and the children, and that in that case the education won't will be enough.
Yeah,
So
but
according to that,
that's a necessary investment since Canada's aging population is declining and also birth rates are facing significant challenges to Canadian economy. Um, and we can see this study of Statistics Canada. It says that the immigration is the primary driver of population growth in Canada. So we can see it as an investment because by welcoming immigrants, especially younger individuals, they can support the workforce and contribute to tax revenues also. And Canada can mitigate the effects of demographic aging and ensure the long-term sustainability of its social programs.
Yeah, so I agree with Daniel because any government's main income is from tax. So if many people are working, so they will get the tax benefits from the employees, new employees. Since the Canada's working age is working population is going to reduce due to that aging factor. So new immigrants are going to improve that bridge that gap, and they're going to provide tax income to the government. So they are.
But guys, according to the Canadian government, there are several measures which are impacted to the because of the immigrations, like improving credential recognitions, in which they say, according to the CIC news, that foreign credential recognition program, in which the government actually allotted a lot of funding to help the immigrants to with the foreign credential, right, to gain the recognition. But for instance, like in budget 2024, I just gave that example, which includes the 50 million dollars that they expedite to the credential recognition, right, in the healthcare and the construction sector, and like PNP courses, which we also see these days in the recent news, which actually the government actually reduces uh, the seats in there around 900 to 200 because of the lot of immigrants that coming out of the another country because of the their reasons like shortage of housing, inflation, and a lot of that, and and also many public services are also impacted, like healthcare department. Yeah,
Yeah, that's true.
this
But
is
I also
also
believe
from
that
the global news.
yeah, but I also believe that immigration is not only about the bringing economy and other and skilled workers, but it is also about a cultural diversity, right? So immigrations bring cultural diversity, which will enrich the society. So I believe cutting immigration may limit exposure to different cultures and perspectives.
yeah, when it comes to the culture and social integration, new immigrants into Canada society can be challenging, particularly when there are significant differences in languages, culture, and values. Like, so this can be created barriers to social cohesion and lead to the development of ethnic enclaves, where communities remain isolated from their broader society.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, that's tough.
But
There are also some issues in that as well, right? Uh, like the social integration issues, which ensuring the immigrants in smoothly in the Canadian society to challenge. This is another challenge. You're talking about the uh, 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 another immigrants who are coming in this country to properly socialize, but there are other phase of that which actually they are difficult to actually live in this society because of the cultural impact they have, and because of that uh, it sometimes has a brain drain to that, and language barrier as well, one of the another case. In recent studies says that I think 40% of the immigrants who came here the language of it. So it creates the language barrier in there. And this is also according to the IRCC news.
Yeah, and we are not saying only that the new immigration rule is only helpful to just for economic growth. The new immigration rule is also beneficial to create innovation and creativity. So if I am going to explain on that how it's going to create this innovation and creativity in Canadian economy, for example, that I firstly explained, then I'm again going back to the point that skilled immigrants. Why do we need skilled immigrants? Because those skilled immigrants being different perspectives and problem solving approaches, so which can spur innovation, right? So with this innovation, if I want to make it more specific, for instance, healthcare professionals from diverse backgrounds can introduce new medical practices and technologies, so improving patient care and outcomes. So the cross pollination of ideas and methods from different parts of the world can lead to groundbreaking advancements in various fields. So it's not possible if we don't get skilled immigrants. For if we just if the new RCC rules is imposed to bring immigrants without skills or without any knowledge, then it will be challenging for issue for Canada to give this service to their patients and to and add any kind of new GDP to their economy. So a report from the Toronto Star highlights how immigrants in the healthcare sector have been instrumental in introducing innovation practices that improve efficiency and patients' outcomes.
Yeah, actually, that would be part of, I mean, having a wide variety of professionals and skilled persons from all around the world creates a global talent pool. Um, in Canada right now, Canada competes with other countries as the top talent from around the world. As we can see, a report from the World Economic Forum ranked Canada as the most competitive country for attracting and retaining talent in the world. So by adopting progressive immigration rules that prioritize the skilled workers, researchers, and professionals, for example, as Sharmin was saying, Canada can maintain this position as a destination of choice for talented people from all around the world. In there, Canada can strengthen its knowledge-based economy and driving sustainable growth during time.
I understand your point, Daniel, but I think that in that case it's necessary to think about that because, as you said, for example, Canada has like the best professional with the best skills, but if you are in a country where you, where you have a really good skills, but you don't have like good jobs to do, so you are not going to use that skills, and I feel that is going to that is happening right now because maybe we can be professionals with the best skills in our country, but everybody is here and we don't have the enough space to develop our knowledge here. So I think that is not always a good part of immigration because in that way, okay, the country has the best people around the world, but if you don't know how to put to work that people, it's not going to be good for the nation. So I think that it's important to consider that. And on the other hand, in the perfect world, if people come here, for example, in a legal way, okay, but don't forget some people use an illegal way, and the government have to use some or have to do some domestic investment to return that people to their home country. So in that case, is people don't come here with a legal way, they are going to spend some investment making they return. Also, that's not a good way to invest money.
Yeah, but actually, it is not that we have only the talent and we have not ways to perform that talent or jobs to that people. Actually, research by Canadian Chamber of Commerce, I'm sorry, highlights the urgent need of immigration to address this labor shortage and ensure the continued growth of some key sectors in Canadian economy. Canada is actually facing one of the biggest shortage in various industries and regions, for example, in healthcare, technology, skilled trades, and new immigration rules can facilitate this the recruitment of new skilled workers into the country. And besides
Yeah.
that,
So
according to research by the Business Development Bank of Canada, they found that immigrant-owned businesses tend to be more innovative and export-oriented than their native-owned counterparts. This means that they are attracting and supporting immigrant entrepreneurs through favorable immigration policies. So this way, Canada can stimulate innovation and foster business growth around the country.
Yeah,
Support
but
for Stephanie, for to support the Stephanie's statement that the presence of the new immigrants willing to work for lower wages can suppress, wage growth in certain industries, disproportionately affecting low income and unskilled workers. So this can contribute to, widening economic inequality within Canada.
yeah, and I also believe that the restriction in immigrations often contribute on many sectors. Like so, if you plan to restrict the immigrants, then the most of the countries have faced uh, or have struggled to attract the global talent. If you plan to cut the immigrants, so they may feel that the Canada is not competitive market, and they may plan to move to, or shift to the another countries. Like there are many options available. So because of these reasons, Canada may lose the uh, global talents there.
but adding to Daniel's point, actually, new immigrants which are focused on just required the shorter labor shortage. So that will be beneficial for the country's growth, overall growth and economy. Because nowadays, what is happening that there are n numbers of immigrants are coming, which are not relevant in the sector. So new rules will help in the economy, that they will focus in the area which are only required for the labor shortages.
Yeah, but if you look at the industry that are reliant on immigrant labor like agriculture, technology, may face shortages impacting productivity and economic growth.
But
Yeah,
guys,
Tejas,
it can create but the immigration while coming, the immigrants actually coming, more of the immigrants as coming in here, right? It creates the market competition, right? Like job competitions, like influx of the immigrant increases the competitions of jobs, particularly in the skilled entry level positions, as you uh, just mentioned, part and another construction industry, right? And which can lead their native born workers about job security and the wage suppression. And also the underemployment, where the higher education people faces difficulties to find actually matching their skills and qualification, which leads to another underemployment and inefficiency in the labor market. And also the wage suppression, and there are as many cases as well.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, but I think cutting down immigrations and uh, but having competitive competition in the market is good for the growth of the skilled worker. Like so, if you have many options available, if you have many talents around you, then you can choose the best of the best. But if you don't have any options available, or if you have the limited employee there, you have to just be selective, and you may not choose the employee that are required. So having a huge competitions will benefit the company growth if you look at in terms of the companies and the global talent
But
market.
but it will eventually create the unemployment
Yes, yes.
competition all of a sudden. Yeah, if it create huge unemployment in that particular industry, especially as I told you for the skilled workers, especially about the higher education people, how can they actually uh, acquire that kind of a job? if there's a lot of sudden growth of you know what I mean? A lot of immigrants are just suddenly hiding these kind of skill starting jobs. How can they will acquire that kind of a job?
And
That
if
also
I
created the unemployment.
it also, yeah, is it will create the unemployment in the market, because if we just currently see the current market situation, that demand for the job of current market situation, there is higher demand, but if you just think from the supply side, there is very less supply with the demand, right? So we can say that even though we have skilled workers, we have someone who is very knowledgeable, who have experience, but they are not being able to provide job. If we just talk about British Columbia or Toronto or Saskatchewan, there are serious job crises are going on, and there are the ratio of unemployment is very high.
Right.
But yeah, immigration. So if you look at the other sectors, then immigration often contribute more in the taxes, and then they receive benefit. So they have contributed more in taxes than they receive in benefits. So cutting immigrations could have negative fiscal implications also.
And if we talk about the country's economy on the natural resources perspective, so this new rules will restrict the exposure, means exploitation of natural resources of the country. So it will restrict the many people to use different resources in the country. So ultimately, the Canadian government do not need to spend a lot of money or to preserve these natural resources. So this is how it also it can impact on the Canadian government economy.
Yeah, that's true. But immigrations are the one who are spending more in terms of health and every sectors. So cutting down the immigrations will affect those industries also. So if you look at the health sector and education sector, most of the immigrants are contributing on those factors. But if you cut down those students or those immigrants, then the other industries will be affected, like healthcare sector and educational institutions will get affected.
Immigration is a key driver of economic
Yeah.
growth, providing a labor force that supports various sectors of the economy. So new restrictions rules can slow down the influx of immigrants, potentially leading to a slower rate of economic growth and innovation.
Actually, according to data of the CPA, there is still 21% gap of healthcare workers. So there are immigrations are going on, but why this gap is still preserved? The reason because is the focused immigration is not happening in the Canada. I don't know why, but the new rules will concentrate on the focused immigration.
I know the reason about healthcare. The healthcare professionals is because in another countries, for example, in USA, they pay more. So many people here study, and they are healthcare professionals, and they leave Canada. So that is not the. I mean, the immigration in that sector is not the answer, because even Canadian study to be doctors, but they leave Canada. So
Yeah,
that is not the answer.
yeah, I also agree, Stephanie, because when you look at the data, the most of the students who are attracted to Canada are from the business background. So Canada has failed to attract the health sectors students or the students who want to pursue the technical field. So it's not because of immigrants there are less doctors available here. It's because Canada has failed to attract them.
Guys, but you're missing the point. The healthcare education, healthcare or the education that you're talking about, especially the healthcare, because of the rapid growth because of this rapid growth of immigrants, right? Due to this, the immigration, they put the pressure in the public healthcare system, and which actually takes more times or longer time to deal with the those patients, and we eventually see whenever we go to the hospital, there's a long line of queue. We have to wait for the turn to see the doctor, and this is also the reason healthcare system is not. I think so. Is the I think it's the major issue in here. It's not the driving factor of the most of the immigrants that are coming in here. Back then it is, but not right now because there's a lot of huge immigrants actually coming here, which actually make a lot of pressure in the healthcare department.
Exactly. And it is not only putting pressure on the healthcare department, it's also putting pressure in housing sector, as Saurabh has already mentioned, and also public service sectors. So where, for example, TransLink. So nowadays we are seeing that even we are not getting chance to sit on while traveling to the university. So this is what is happening in the country when there is a more immigrations are coming. So because these things takes time to develop the infrastructure, but so government has to slow down the immigration to improve their facilities, and then gradually they can increase the immigration later on. But currently, these new rules are beneficial for this country's economic growth only.
I agree there.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's true. But another sector that affects is the family reunion. Like many people come here the motive to meet their family members and to start their new things. Like so, if you cut down the immigrations, then that will affect those immigrants also who are planning to come here to meet their families and other things. Like so, most of the students come here in search of the better opportunities and in search in terms of their family meetings and everything. So that will badly affect them.
yeah. So I think we should conclude the topic because we have been discussing on this topic. Many good points were emerged from this discussion. So in support of the new rules, the group discussed regarding group has raised the points like the exploitation of several factors sectors, and there are impacts on the industries like housing and medical industry, and other group which were opposing this new rule is they were telling that the company country's growth will be impacted because the main driving factor for the Canadian government is the immigrants. So during this debate, we got to know many good points, and ultimately, so both teams points were valid, and yeah, that's all.
Thank you.
Thank you for your time,
Okay.
guys.
Thank you so much again.
Thank,
Thank
thank you
Thank
so
you.
you.
much.
Thank you
Bye.
so
Thank you so
much.
much.
Guys.
I'm stopping the recording.
Yeah.